Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Unstoppable Dynamics channel of wrestling results here in this channel. So today we have Elimination Chamber results coming to you guys live 2/19/22. Yes, I know we've pretty much are behind schedule from last night. It was around 12 o'clock. That was when I was right to bed. So let's get into these results. February 19th, 2022, kickoff show, The Miz versus Rey Mysterio with Dominic. As soon as the bell rings, Miz attacks Mysterio. Mysterio sends Miz into the ropes with Rana, setting up a 619. Miz rolls out of the ring to avoid it. Mysterio knocks Miz off the apron and lands a baseball slide splash. Miz begs off outside of the ring. Dominic sends Miz back into the ring. Mysterio lands a few strikes. Mysterio goes up top, but is crotched by Miz. Miz unloads on Mysterio with strike after strike. Miz takes a swing at Dominic. Dominic clocks Miz while the referee is distracted. Mysterio gets a near fall. Miz lands the it kicks. Mysterio ducks the last and lands a boot of his own. Flying head scissors, but Mysterio sends Miz into the ring post. Seated senton by Mysterio. Miz kicks out of Mysterio's crossbody attempt. Miz tries a sunset flip, but Mysterio rolls through and blasts him with a kick to the head. Mysterio tries a sunset flip, but Miz rolls through and lands a nasty DDT. 2 count only. Miz counters a wheelbarrow into almost hitting the skull-crushing finale. Mysterio counters and lands the 619. Miz rolls out of it to avoid getting splashed. Miz grabs a chair. Mysterio surprises him with a splash. Miz kicks the ring steps as Dominic is holding the chair. The referee ejects Dominic from ringside. Miz tries to sneak one in on Mysterio, but Mysterio rolls up Miz for the win. Your winner, Rey Mysterio. After the match, Miz attacks Mysterio. Dominic makes the save. Double 619 by the Mysterios. Dominic lands a frog splash. Mysterio does the same. Miz had that coming. Next, we have the main card. Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns as your champion with Paul Heyman versus Goldberg. My hero, Goldberg. Before the match, now we finally get to see Goldberg versus Roman Reigns one-on-one in a match. Finally, this was supposed to happen, I think, 2020, but we never got to see it because of COVID. So, yes, let's see how this happens. Before the match starts, Reigns tells the crowd to acknowledge him. Reigns and Goldberg stare at each other down as the bell rings. Roman Reigns and Goldberg lock up. Goldberg starts to back Roman Reigns up. Roman Reigns immediately stops him with a right hand. Reigns knocks Goldberg out of the ring. Goldberg reverses an Irish whip and sends Reigns into the barricade. Reigns levels Goldberg with an uppercut as he re-enters the ring. The referee backs Reigns up. Goldberg crushes Reigns with a spear. Goldberg calls for the jackhammer. Reigns reverses it into the rock bottom. Goldberg kicks out. Reigns lands the Superman punch. Reigns calls for his spear, but Goldberg hits his own spear first. Goldberg tries another jackhammer, but Reigns turns it into a guillotine. Reigns has it in deep. Goldberg drives Reigns into the corner, but Reigns doesn't let go. Goldberg lifts Reigns off the mat and drives him into the corner again. Reigns is relentless. Goldberg drops to the mat and passes out. The referee calls for the bell. Your winner and still Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. On to the next page. We have Women's Elimination Chamber match. Bianca Belair versus Doudrop versus Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley versus Nikki ASH. For reasons, Bliss has a swing in her pod. I'd pay good money for them to leave the swing and put Brock Lesnar in that pod. Nikki and Morgan start the match. Nikki slams Morgan on the metal grate. Morgan kicks Nikki into a pod. Doudrop is released from her pod. Nikki tries to get Doudrop to team up with her, but Doudrop blasts her with a headbutt. Why does he remove his... Why? I don't understand this guy. He sends me freaking stuff and then he unsends it. This guy is a moron. Doudrop slams Nikki and Morgan into the chamber. Doudrop flattens Morgan with a senton on the steel. Ripley is released next. Ripley kicks Doudrop in the face and goes after Nikki. Nikki climbs the chamber. Ripley follows. Ripley slams Nikki's head into the chamber. Nikki falls off onto Doudrop and Morgan. Ripley hits the riptide on Nikki for the pin. Nikki ASH has been eliminated. Bliss is released from her pod and runs over Morgan and drop kicks Ripley. Bliss hits insult to injury on Morgan. Morgan kicks out. Morgan stops Bliss. Sorry. In the corner, Ripley runs into boot by Morgan. Morgan goes up top, but Doudrop pushes her into a pod. Morgan's knee gets caught on the ring post. Ripley tries to suplex Doudrop, but Doudrop knocks her away. Morgan hits a sunset flip bomb on Doudrop for the pin. Doudrop has been eliminated. Belair is released from her pod and clears the ring before press slamming Morgan with one arm. Belair and Ripley hit stereo delayed vertical suplexes. Ripley slaps Belair. Belair slaps Ripley. The two trade strikes. Belair almost hits the KOD. Morgan lands a double code breaker on Belair and Ripley. Bliss hits Twisted Bliss on Morgan. Liv Morgan has been eliminated. Belair hits the KOD on Ripley and gets the pin. Rhea Ripley has been eliminated. Bliss hits the code red on Belair. Belair kicks out. Bliss tries a Rana, but Belair puts on the brakes and power bombs Bliss into the chamber over and over again. Bliss and Belair trade pin attempts. Belair does a front flip to counter a DDT from Bliss. I've never seen that before. Belair hits the KOD for the win. Alexa Bliss has been eliminated. Winner and new #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair. On to the next page. Naomi and Ronda Rousey versus Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair. Rousey must compete with one arm tied behind her back. Ronda Rousey is wearing her GI from her bronze medal victory in the Olympics. Deville still has her arm in a sling as the bell rings. Deville takes off her sling and laughs at Rousey. Rousey seems to not care at all. After a distraction from Flair, Deville attacks her from behind. Rousey clocks Deville with her free hand. Step up knee by Ronda Rousey. Rousey demands Flair to get in the ring. Flair tags in and immediately tag back out. Naomi tags in and these presses Deville. Deville sends Naomi into the top turnbuckle. Rousey tags in and judo throws Deville. Ronda Rousey is about to lock in an armbar, but Flair boots her in the head. Flair sends Ronda Rousey's free arm into the ring post. Flair works over Ronda Rousey's free arm. Deville and Flair take turns working over Ronda Rousey. Rousey manages to tag in Naomi. Naomi unloads on Flair. Naomi floors Flair with a disaster kick. Flair rolls out of the ring, corkscrew plancha by Naomi. Naomi gets a near fall after a crossbody. Flair counters a Rana with a power bomb. Flair tries to lock in the figure eight, but Ronda Rousey breaks it up. Rousey and Deville tag in. Deville runs right into Piper's pit from Ronda Rousey. Rousey traps Deville's arm. Rousey begs Flair to try to save Deville. Flair just stands there. Rousey drops into an armbar. Deville taps out. Winners Naomi and Ronda Rousey. Falls count anywhere match. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss with Happy Corbin. Moss and Corbin attack McIntyre. McIntyre sends Moss out of the ring before chasing Corbin out of the ringside area. Before Moose can react, McIntyre sends Moose into the LED board on the stage. McIntyre is about to powerbomb Moss off the stage, but Corbin attacks him from behind. Moss gets a near fall. Sorry, I got distracted there. Near fall after a double suplex by him and Corbin. McIntyre lands a series of overhead throws. McIntyre hits an Alabama slam, but Moss lands on the top of his head. That was nasty. Okay, now I know what that was about on YouTube now. McIntyre suplexes Moss outside of the ring and over the announce table. McIntyre calls for the Claymore, but Corbin hits him with a chair. Moss and Corbin send McIntyre headfirst through the barricade. McIntyre kicks out. McIntyre hits the Future Shock DDT. Corbin almost beheads Corbin with his sword. Angelia. I don't know. McIntyre hits the Claymore while holding the sword. McIntyre pins Moss with his foot on Moss's chest while pointing at Angela at Corbin. Your winner, Drew McIntyre. Backstage, Miz says he is going to even the odds against Mysterios. He knows just who to call. I wonder who that could be. We'll have to find out who would it be. Raw Women's Championship. We'll probably find out at WrestleMania. Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch as your champion versus Lita. Lynch immediately tries to disarm her, but Lita avoids it. Lita lands a series of strikes. Lynch is livid. head scissors by Lita. Lita calls for the twist of fate, but Lynch escapes. Lynch sends Lita into the turnbuckle. Lynch focuses her attack on Lita's previously injured neck. Lita turns Lynch's suplex into DDT. Lita fires up. Lynch and Lita trades pin attempts. Lynch tries to use the rope, but Lita kicks out. Lita almost locks in a sleeper. Lynch gets to the ropes, powerbomb by Lita. Lita goes up top. Lynch rolls out of the ring. Lita hits the stratosphere. Lita hits the OG Dirty Deeds for a near fall. Lynch isn't moving. Lita sets up a moonsault. Lynch crotches her on the top rope. Lynch locks in to disarm her. Lita gets to the ropes. Lynch hits the manhandle slam. Lita gets her foot on the bottom rope. Lynch misses the moonsault of her own. Twist of fate by Lita. Lita hits her moonsault. Lynch kicks out. Lynch hits a manhandle slam out of nowhere for the win. Winner and still Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Usos as your champions versus the Viking Raiders. As Eric and Ivar made their way to the ring, Jimmy and Jay attacked outside the ring. The Usos suplex Ivar on the top of Eric. A bunch of referees run down to the ring and check on Eric and Ivar. The Usos walk away. No contest. So here we go. Next page. I think this could be the last page. As of right now, it could be. Yep, it is the last page. So, WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. Bobby Lashley as the champion versus AJ Styles versus Austin Theory versus Riddle versus Seth Rollins and versus Brock Lesnar. Theory takes a selfie with everyone already in a pod while exclaiming, "I'm going to beat you." Rollins and Theory start the match. Theory and Rollins takes turns mocking each other. Rollins eventually hit a sling blade. Fall away slam by Theory. Theory lands a back suplex. Theory crushes Rollins with a slingshot stomp. Fisherman's suplex by Theory. Rollins responds with a basement super kick. Theory is down. Rollins sends Theory into the chamber over and over again. Rollins power bombs Theory into Lashley's pod, breaking it and sending Lashley to the floor. Lashley is down. Riddle's pod opens. Riddle lands a suplex followed by a Broton on Rollins. Medical professionals check on Lashley in his pod. Rollins works over Riddle. Adam Pearce is in the chamber to check on Lashley as well. Rollins suplexes Riddle off the top of Lashley's pod. Riddle kicks out. Lashley is helped out of the pod. Frog splash by Rollins for another near fall. Styles is released from the pod. Styles clears the ring. Rollins and Styles fight over who gets to suplex Riddle. Theory powerbombs Styles and Rollins off the top. Riddle catches Theory with a floating bro. Riddle hits a double Hangman's DDT. Lashley's pod is supposed to be open, but he's gone. Brock Lesnar gets upset and kicks his way out of his pod. Lashley proceeds to F5 and pins Rollins. Riddle and Styles it's announced that Lashley is in concussion protocol and will not return. Theory tries to run away. Brock Lesnar is probably laughing. Brock Lesnar kicks through the pod. Theory tries to hide in. Theory low blows Lesnar and hits a DDT for 1 count. Theory tries to climb the cage. Lesnar follows and pulls Theory off the chamber. Lesnar F5s Theory off the top of a pod. Theory is done. Lesnar pins Theory. Winner and new WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. So since Lashley never got pinned or was in the match, I think we will see a triple threat match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you guys do not miss an upload here on this channel. And I'm out.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Skiz here. And if you don't subscribe to Juan and the Unstoppable Denominator, then you are a toothy bumfuck, pussy ass bitch motherfucker.